Good evening. I'm happy to be here to share with you some of my poems. Ever since I started writing poetry, one of the troubling images seems to pop up time and time again. Is that of a starving African child. I've written several poems on this subject. Song of Birth and Death is one of them. The word Death Day, in parallel with the word birthday at the end of the poem, is my own invention, taking a poetic license. Song of Birth and Death for a dying Somali child. He wants to blow up with his last breath. The collapsing balloons that hang listlessly from his mother's chest and watch them soar high into the sky. On this birthday of his, on this death day of his. Several years ago, my wife and I visited the Vietnam War Veteran Memorial. I saw many visitors use their fingers to trace the names of their loved ones on the wall. It inspired me to write the following poem, Vietnam Veterans Memorial. A block of marble and 26 letters of the alphabet etch so many young names onto history. Wandering along amid the mass grave, an old woman has at last found her only child, and with her eyes tightly shut, her trembling fingers now feel for the mortal wound on his ice-cold forehead. Dr. Marian Lokovich sent me several news clips asking me to write something about the recent Colorado movie theater shooting. The next three poems I'm going to read are my response to her request. The first one is titled High Noon. I believe most of you have seen the movie High Noon, the 1952 Western film starring Gary Cooper as the marshal of a town called Hadleyville of the New Mexico territory. High noon. At midday, the lone marshal draws his gun against the gang at the sun-drenched field in Hadleyville. At midnight, a lonelier man in Aurora's packed, darkened movie theater with armor head to toe and automatic rifles in hand, pull his triggers. Against innocence, against humanity, against emptiness, against the ever more lonesome self. Every time I hear of such a tragic event, I always feel a deep sympathy for the mothers involved, regardless of whether they are the mothers of the victims or the mother of the killer. In fact, especially for the mother of the killer, I can imagine the pain and loneliness she would suffer and have to endure throughout her entire life. Target. To the Aurora movie theater shooting suspect. Hollywood's screen directors have polished their scripts and set the stage. Guns provided by arms dealers are loaded, all waiting for you to burst the hatred pent up in your heart and ignite the flames in your eyes. No need to aim. Bullets randomly penetrate innocent bodies, carrying wails of victims' families and the tearful gaze of the world, all stream toward the loneliest target, your mother's heart. I heard that the Aurora shooting suspect was fond of playing video games. This inspired me to write the poem I'm going to read next. By the way, this is one of the longest poems I ever written so far. Most of my poems are very short. Video games. For the Aurora movie theater mass murderer. Life is a video game, a virtual reality. Outfitting yourself from head to toe in gleaming steel armor and with guns in hand, you took up the self-appointed role of villain, rising from the dark night, randomly spraying bullets towards the world, bursting the pent-up hatred in your sick mind. Life is not a video game. It's a bloody reality. 4 young men lost their lives using their own bodies to shield their girlfriends from your bullets. A father tried to gather up his courage to tell his young daughter that her mother will never come back from the midnight show. A semi-conscious young woman with your bullets lodged in her body keeps asking her about her little girl, not knowing she was your youngest victim. A soldier willing to sacrifice your life for his country and freedom was killed instead by your cowardly act at the theater. In a darkened room, the candles on the cakes will remain forever unlit. For the man who started his birthday celebration at the movies. And for those lucky survivors, they find out they are not so lucky after all, having to relive in the dark of night the haunting experience of your game. Life is not a video game. Life is not a video game. Life is not a video game. But if life has to be a video game, then let's make sure it's not of fear and violence, but full of smiles and laughter. The parts all depends on each other. Kindness and compassion, the rule of the game. And when the night comes, let's splendid fireworks, not gunfire, light up the dark sky. This year, gun violence in Chicago South Side neighborhoods has gotten worse. Almost every day we hear news reports of innocent children being killed by stray bullets. This reminds me of a poem I wrote several years ago, Menarche, the first occurrence of menstruation in a woman's life. The poem is very short, only 5 lines, but I hope it will leave a longer lasting impression. Menarche. For a girl in Chicago South Side, stumbling on a bumpy sidewalk, a little girl was hit by a stray bullet. Blood gushed from her immature body. Her stiffening mouth had yet to ask girlish questions of her wailing mother. Thank you very much.